So things are changing in the church, but as a Christian, as someone who works in the church, and I'm weird. I have a really cool love for God and Jesus, and I always have. I'm a recovering Southern Baptist, so back in Texas, I was raised Southern Baptist, and so I came out of the closet when I was 15 years old as a gay man because that's all I knew then. That's the only terminology I knew. Non-binary wasn't really a terminology for a little queer in East Texas, and then even learning that terminology and then coming to terms with who I am, it's just been a beautiful journey. But when I came out of the closet, the church, I remember sitting in a Sunday school class. I really had questions. I always have had a lot of questions, and questions are okay, especially in the church. I think the more questions we have in the church, the better the church is, okay? So don't let some normally white old man tell you what's right and what's wrong because they don't know.
There was this place in Great Falls called Toad Hall. No kidding. It was actually named after a bar in San Francisco, but it was dark. The windows were boarded. You came in the back door. And you tried to be as invisible as you could the rest of the week. Look at us now. Look at us now. There's still some hiding. There's still darkness. There's still shame. At times there's a lot of hopelessness. We know what our suicide rate is in the community. And there's people like the folks that were evangelizing to us yesterday that don't even know that they're part of that problem. And I'm here as someone who honestly would probably call herself Christian cautiously and with lots of qualifiers. But I stay in that lane because y'all need to know that those people do not speak for everyone.
Yeah.
They sure as hell don't speak for God. And some of you care about church. Some of you have been damaged by church. And you need to know. Even if you know in your brain that they might be wrong, sometimes in our heart, we just want to be accepted. It's not about tolerance. It's not even about acceptance, believe it or not. You can accept someone is gay or bi or trans or whatever, but when you ask them, would you hire them as a minister? Affirm to the core of your being as loved and lovely, just the way you are. You have to know that. Again, I know you know that, but I want you to feel that today.
So I remember sitting in Sunday school, and I grew up in East Texas, and I was 15, had just got my driver's permit. The church I went to was about 2 miles from my house, and my parents actually let me drive to church illegally because they didn't go, because they were burned by the church. And so I remember sitting in Sunday school and asking my Sunday school teacher, how can you tell us that this God loves us so much, this being beyond us, that's not the terminology of Baptist church, girl, that this God loves us so much, but yet if we don't fit a certain mold that you're telling us, that we're going to go to this really bad place, this really awful place for eternity, which I don't believe in hell, that's bullshit. It's made up by the patriarchy in the church. Because, honey, if it gets worse than the shit that happens here on earth, then because it's pretty bad. But we are a room. We have a roof over our head, food to eat. Many people in our country alone don't have that. So I asked that, and I remember my Sunday school teacher looking at me and going, "You can't ask that, bitch." So I literally looked at her and I went, okay. And I stood up and I was like, deuces. So I walked out of that church and, do you have a napkin? My allergies, thank you. My allergies have been fucked. Sorry. I'm a Christian, but I cuss a little, okay? Don't say that word. So I left the church and I was like, no, this isn't what the church, this isn't the God I worship. But I never lost my love for something that's beyond us. And I also am a firm believer in science. And we don't know what's beyond us. So that's why I'm like, if you're looking at someone and you're telling them you're wrong, you need to look at yourself and be like, oh, I might be wrong too, okay? So I left the church and then went back. And the reason I went back is because I want to change the system from within. Know that if you've been hurt by the church, I have, as a queer person, as a drag entertainer, as a non-binary person, I've been hurt by the church. And I bet many of you in this room have too. Whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, black, white, transgender, I bet many of us have been hurt by the church. Know that the church does not have power over you. And know that me, as a Christian, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for the damage that they've done to our queer community and the folks within our lives and putting shame and guilt on people, because that's not the way to live, right? I went back to, so my mom, I'm gonna tell you all my life story. I got 9 minutes. So my mom almost passed away. She had some emergency surgery back in February of 2020. And I went back to Texas back in April, and she and my dad have found their new love for Jesus again. And literally within 2 hours, we hadn't even made it home yet, we started talking about salvation and what that looks like. And my dad, what I'm about to say broke my heart. I said, I don't believe in a place called hell. And he goes, well, if you don't believe in hell, what do you have to live for? Yeah, he's Texas girl. He said that, and it shook me to my core. I was like, I live for love, I live for kindness, I live for humanity. I don't live to try to avoid a place that I firmly believe doesn't exist, but that we don't know exists. So live into love, live into justice, and live into harmony, and know that you are important, that you have power. Know that you are meant to be here. You are here for a reason. Know that if you feel like you're alone, you're not. And I know sometimes it feels so hard. I suffer with rampant depression, honey. But know that you are not alone. And there are so many resources. There are organizations like Casper Pride that can help you with resources. There are organizations like the Trevor Project. Go to the center on Colfax in Denver, to their website. There are many, many resources. Q Christian Network, there are resources to help you. If you feel that you're alone, my Facebook and Instagram messages are always open for you. You are not alone. You are important. You are here for a reason. And don't let anyone take that power away from you, because you are beautiful. And you are... And as Dee was saying, I can't agree anymore with you. We are all made in the image of God. We are all made in the image of whatever's beyond us, just as you are. And you are here for a reason, and be proud of that.